got a problem. The tomatoes are growing too fast and they're outgrowing their pots. So what I noticed was the roots were starting to come out of the bottom of the pot in the larger plants. And that meant that it's time to actually repot them on before they start getting root bound. When they start getting root bound, they do that circular motion around the inside of the pot because they want to spread out and look for food. What roots do is they actually search down and hunt for the food. Somehow they know where the food is. So if you've got nutrition spread throughout your pot evenly, the roots will grow nice and even, and they will grow nice and healthy plants for you. Another thing to do is to give your roots a nice drink of liquid seaweed. This tonic refreshes the roots, livens them up, removes that root shock and gets the roots growing again, which is just absolutely awesome. It's cheap stuff, and I recommend that you actually do give all your plants a liquid seaweed at least every fortnight, at the very least every month. So this is rock dust, and it's used in my potted gardens. I actually love it in my tomatoes because it keeps away all the nasty diseases and pests and things, and really helps well with blossom end rot. It's got a wide spectrum of trace minerals in here, you know, everything from like copper, iron, potassium, calcium, all of them, everything that's needed, nitrogen. It's really a great fertilizer to use, and it's not that expensive. Look, one handful will cover 1 square meter for 3 cubic feet apparently, and I put about a quarter of a handful into a pot, and that lasts for up to 3 months. And then when the plant starts growing on, you just sprinkle it on top, and it slowly releases into the plant as well, and that actually helps the fruit get much sweeter. It gets much more color in it. It's much more healthy, much more pest resistant, because when the plant's healthy, it can actually build up its own immune system and keep away pests and fight pests. And another way I use it actually is in my compost pods. I make these using tea bags, and this one has about 90% worm castings and 10% rock dust, and this one is all rock dust. And they work great. You just put them into your watering can. Once it starts sort of disintegrating a bit, throw it into the garden, mix it around, and it will keep on working for ages. So I highly recommend that you think about putting this type of stuff into your pots and into your gardens, because it's going to help the microbes, it's going to help the worms, it's going to help your garden structure, and it's an overall health conditioner, and it improves. And it's made from rocks, and it's slow release, and it doesn't harm the environment. It's fully organic. So what if I told you we could step things up even better? Bigger yields, healthier plants, less pest problems, the whole works. Well, we surely can. And the reason why I'm producing the rest of this video is for you guys. Look, this is anywhere from the beginner to the intermediate, right up to the advanced guy that's selling at the markets or farming, micro farming, you know, doing market gardens, all that type of stuff, or just want to grow the best, healthiest food at home. And we're talking about tomatoes here, but this can relate to pretty much everything. Now, what I want to do is take you over and show you exactly what you need to be looking for. This will blow you guys away. It's the best stuff around, and you don't see it much online. People don't really know about this stuff. Now, I'm an agricultural horticulturist, and I want to share my knowledge with you so you can get the best optimum results. Let's go and have a look, shall we? So I'm on a website called healthyearth.com.au. Now, it's an Australian website. I'm not affiliated to it in any way. I have used this product. It was my secret weapon on the micro farm, because what I used to do was I would actually have my worm farms, my chickens, and I'd feed this to crops and then feed it to my chickens.
The chickens would then turn into manure. The old manure would go into the worm farms. Then I would make my own liquid fertilizer again. And then I would actually just keep it in a continual loop. And I would be eating the minerals that are coming out of this liquid fertilizer. Now, when you're using a high-end quality liquid fertilizer, the plant will get a way more broad spectrum of micronutrients and macronutrients than you would get from anything else that you can get in a normal supermarket, or say like somewhere like Bunnings and things like that. There are other companies around like this around the globe. So what I want to do is show you what to look for so you can grow the best tomatoes, get the healthiest crops, keep pests away, keep disease away, and really feel good about your glowing green thumb. So as you can see here, it's got nitrogen, potassium, calcium. It's quite a good broad range here, which can be used on all types of plants. Like I said, I was using this to grow lots of things, but primarily on my microgreens so I could get larger, faster, bigger yields and make more money. And it really, really did. I've never been able to implement this again since I've stopped buying this product and haven't had my worm farms in. So I was probably getting 30 to 35% larger yields weekly than I was before growing it just in a high quality potting mix. So what we need to look for are these trace elements. So obviously, you know, we've got our normal elements such as our phosphates, our potassiums, our calciums, things like that. And we've got the boron, manganese, zinc, sulfur, copper, molybdenum, carbon and silica. Now, a lot of the time you don't even see these copper ones down here, you know, copper, molybdenum and carbon and silica. You don't see them very often, but these actually are locked in here in the volcanic minerals, and the volcanic minerals can be absorbed very easily by the plants, and this, you know, it's totally non-destructive to the environment. And you can see here, you know, I'm going to read these out because this is important for you guys to know what to look for. So we've got things such as silica as oxide, titanium, iron, manganese, magnesium, calcium, potassium, phosphorus, zinc, copper, molybdenum, sulfur, carbon, strontium, rubidium, yttrium, zirconium. Sorry, it's hard for me to say all these. Nickel, gallium, cobalt, uranium, tin, antimony, barium, chromium, vanadium, niobium, thorium. Now, when you've got all these working in, they're synthesized in together and they're in a balanced rate, it means that each one can work within itself. Like example, if you've got an overflow of magnesium, it might lock up the calcium, which is something like when we eat iron, it helps us uptake our vitamin C. And it's similar like that with plants. And when you're providing your plant with all these nutrients here, it can be much healthier. And when it's much healthier, it can fight off pests and diseases. Now, pests will feed primarily on sick plants or plants that are lacking some type of nutrient. And that's the reason they're there, to attack sick plants, is to get rid of disease and sick plants. So the healthy plants live on and produce seed and keep producing on and producing on. So it's nature's way of getting rid of sickly and bad plants. And so this is what we need to look for. And this company, Healthy Earth, has a great range around the place. You can always give them a ring. I actually know the rep quite well, but I haven't bought from him for a couple of years now. I do plan on actually getting some more when I can find out where it is close by, or order some. But, you know, as I said, there are other companies out there that have things like this. And so what you want to look for, if you're really serious about growing the best quality product that you can as a farmer or for your backyard, then something like this, a liquid NPK fertilizer that involves rock dust, a quality rock dust, and seaweed, so volcanic minerals. And look guys, you will never ever look back.
So I took you on a bit of a story ride really with that video, didn't I? Because what I did was I shown you a beginner's point of view of how to get your tomatoes, you know, repotted and stop the root shock. And then we sort of stepped things up a little bit by adding, you know, the rock dust and the compost pods and being able to make those. And then going up another level and talking about what's actually in really good quality rock dust and what to look for. And so you can actually step up from being a beginner and possibly having what you think is a brown thumb to a glowing thumb that's fluoro green, because really it's all about knowledge. Of course, you've got to have the love and the passion behind it, but once you get a few of those things away, look, people that have just changed over and just used rock dust from the next year have just gone wow and never ever look back. I'm going to leave a link down below for an Amazon link for some you can buy, you can purchase. Unfortunately, Aussies, you can't get that here in Australia. They won't send it over. But I'll leave it down there. And also I'll leave a link to the Healthy Earth website where you can click across and then you can look at their analysis there and get a good idea of what to look for. And that'll really help you out in the long run. Now, I'm growing these tomatoes on. It's a developing story. I really like it if you come along the journey with me and watch me grow these tomatoes. We're going into winter now, and this is really good fun. You're going to learn a lot of things about how to implement this possibly at home at your place. And even if you're not going into growing into winter, you're going to be able to put a lot of these tips and tricks together into spring and autumn and stuff to grow much more healthy tomatoes at home. And I'll see you at the next video real soon, because we've got plenty more on the way. Keep following Marty's Garden and learn how to grow fresh food fast in urban places and small spaces by clicking on the bell button in the subscribe area, and that way you'll keep notified every time there's a new video come out.